Jose, last name spelling Ponce, and the second one is last name spelling Rosales. Jose, last name spelling Ponce.
Okay. That appears to be Ponce and Rosales. So what we're going to do is, after I read the script, we're going to deal with those two persons first, and then we can allow Miss Fitzgerald to go about her day. Miss Fitzgerald, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear affirm that you will, to the best of your skill, knowledge, and training, translate these proceedings from Spanish to English and English to Spanish?
I swear.
Okay, thank you. Before we begin, I have one announcement.
Antes de empezar, tengo un anuncio para hacer.
We are starting early, earlier than the 11 o'clock scheduled starting time.
Vamos a empezar antes. El horario es a las 11, pero vamos a empezar antes.
If there's anyone that has secured the services of a lawyer to represent them during this proceeding, please let me know and we will hold you until your lawyer is available.
Si alguno de ustedes ha contratado el servicio de un abogado, por favor necesito que levante la mano para dejarles saber que la audiencia va a ser más temprano.
Okay. Now, this is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County.
Esta es su audiencia primera en frente del juez del condado de Clayton.
My name is Brad Gardner and I'm a judge in this court.
Mi nombre es Brad Gardner y soy el juez en este tribunal.
I am not here to conduct a trial of your case or to take a plea in your case.
No estamos aquí para hacer el juicio de su caso o para que usted se declare en su caso.
I am here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you,
Estoy aquí solamente para informarle acerca de los cargos que tiene en su contra,
to advise you of certain rights,
decirle los derechos que usted tiene,
to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail,
imponerle una fianza en las faltas o cargos que usted tiene en su contra que yo puedo hacerlo,
to schedule a preliminary hearing,
darle una fecha para una audiencia preliminar
and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney.
y para determinar si es necesario que usted tenga un abogado.
You have the right to remain silent and say nothing.
Usted tiene derecho a mantenerse en silencio y no decir nada.
But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial.
Pero si usted renuncia a ese derecho a mantenerse en silencio, todo lo que usted diga podrá ser usado en su contra en un juicio.
So please don't discuss the facts of your case.
Así que, por favor, no diga nada acerca de su caso.
During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights.
Durante esta audiencia y las audiencias futuras, usted tiene todos estos derechos que le voy a nombrar.
The right to the presumption of innocence,
El derecho a la presunción de inocencia,
the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors,
el derecho a que un gran jurado determine su culpabilidad o si es una felonía y solamente una acusación formal si es un cargo menor.
the right to a speedy and public trial by jury,
El derecho a ir a un juicio rápido frente a un jurado,
the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you,
el derecho, oh, I'm so sorry. El derecho a estar presente cuando sus testigos testifican en su contra y hacerle preguntas a esos testigos.
the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf,
El derecho de obligar al tribunal a traer testigos en su favor.
The right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense.
El derecho a dar su propio testimonio o traer testigos y evidencia en su favor.
The right to have an attorney represent you.
El derecho a tener un abogado que lo represente.
If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify.
Si usted no tiene dinero para costear un abogado, aquí le haríamos una entrevista para ver si califica para el abogado gratuito del tribunal.
Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail.
Algunos de ustedes van a tener fianzas no restringidas para poder salir de la cárcel.
These bonds may be posted by cash, commercial, or property.
Estas fianzas se pueden pagar con efectivo, con una propiedad o a través de una casa de fianza.
If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office.
Si usted quiere pagarlo con efectivo, a una persona en su nombre va a tener que traer el dinero completo más cualquier cargo extra aquí a la comisaría para que usted pueda salir.
The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of your case.
Ese dinero que usted paga en efectivo aquí en la comisaría va a quedar aquí hasta que usted concluya con su caso.
If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service.
Ahora, si usted quiere usar una casa de fianza, esa casa de fianza le va a cobrar un dinero por hacer este trabajo.
The fee will not be returned.
Y ese dinero no se lo devuelven.
I don't know what fee will be charged, but it is usually based upon a percentage of the bond.
No sé cuánto estas casas de fianza le cobran, pero en general es un porcentaje de la fianza.
Finally, if you use property to post a bond, the property will need to have a net equity at least 3 times the total amount of the bond.
Ahora, si usted quiere usar una propiedad, una casa como garantía o como fianza, esa propiedad tiene que tener una neto ganado en la casa 3 veces lo que vale la fianza.
Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places.
Algunos de ustedes van a tener una fianza con restricciones que le van a prohibir estar en contacto con ciertas personas o ir a ciertos lugares.
A special condition will be provided to you on a separate form.
Esas restricciones especiales se las vamos a dar en un documento aparte.
You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you're in jail.
También usted tiene prohibido contactarse con la víctima en este caso.
If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you could remain in jail until your trial.
Si usted no cumple con estas restricciones, el dinero de la fianza lo va a perder y usted va a estar en preso hasta que concluya su caso.
You could also receive additional felony charges.
Y también se le podrían agregar causas de felonías.
It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person would not be allowed to post your bond.
Es muy importante que si hay una víctima en este caso en su contra, esa persona no puede venir a pagar la fianza por usted.
Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail.
Algunos de ustedes tienen causas en su contra que yo no estoy autorizado para imponer fianzas.
In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date.
Si ese es su caso, otra audiencia de fianza se va a hacer en el Tribunal Superior y a usted se le va a decir cuándo va a ser esa audiencia.
If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time.
Y lo mismo, si usted está bajo probatoria en algún otro condado o por alguna otra causa, no le voy a poder imponer fianza.
Whether bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest.
Y si ese es su caso, que usted ya está bajo probatoria, va a tener una audiencia con su oficial de probatoria y en esa instancia se va a determinar si se le puede imponer fianza para este nuevo caso que usted tiene.
The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you.
La audiencia preliminar es solamente para determinar si había suficiente razón para arrestarlo e imponerle los cargos que usted tiene ahora.
The standard at this stage is very low.
Es muy bajo el estándar o es muy bajo lo que hay que probar en esa causa.
Judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime has occurred.
En esta audiencia preliminar solamente hay que determinar si es probable que usted cometió el delito por el cual usted está preso ahora.
Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing.
Todos tienen el derecho de renunciar, ir a esa audiencia preliminar.
However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing.
Pero si usted no está seguro si debe o no renunciar a su audiencia preliminar, le aconsejaría que hablara con un abogado primero.
If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived.
Si usted puede salir bajo fianza, esa audiencia preliminar se renuncia automáticamente.
You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date.
Y en ese caso, si usted sale bajo fianza, le mandamos a la dirección que tenemos aquí la notificación para cuándo sería su próxima audiencia.
Finally, I need everyone to raise your right hand.
Necesito que levanten la mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm that any statements you make during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
¿Usted jura que todo lo que va a decir aquí hoy va a ser la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad? Yes.
Okay. So let's have Mr. Ponce and Mr. Rosales.
Señor Ponce y señor Rosales.
Oh, no, still in court.
Okay, Mr. Ponce, raise your hand, please, sir.
¿Quién es el señor Ponce? Levante la mano. ¿Ponce? Got frozen.
I can't see either hand. Let's deal with
they're
Mr.
frozen,
Ponce
Your Honor.
first.
They're frozen.
Oh,
Yes. There he is.
oh, okay.
Okay. ¿Usted es el señor Ponce?
Sí.
Muy bien. That's Mr. Ponce.
Okay, sir, can you hear and understand the interpreter?
Señor, ¿usted está pudiendo entenderme y escucharme bien?
Sí.
Yes.
Sir, you've been charged with one count of driving a vehicle without a license.
Señor, usted solamente tiene una falta de haber manejado sin licencia.
Sí.
Yes.
Your bond is going to be set at $1,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Su fianza es de $1,000. ¿Usted cree que va a poder pagarla y salir?
Sí, ya está pagada.
¿Ya está pagada? It's already paid, Your Honor.
Okay. So when you're done with this proceeding, sir, they will probably tell you very quickly that you are ready to bond out.
Entonces, cuando terminemos con este procedimiento, seguramente le van a decir que usted está listo para salir.
Ok, está bien.
Okay, that's good.
Since you're here, sir, you have the right to request the appointment of a lawyer. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Señor, ya que está usted aquí, ¿usted quiere saber, quiere abogado, quiere que le haga algunas preguntas para ver si usted califica para el abogado gratuito?
¿El abogado para qué?
Lawyer for what?
Para la corte.
For the court day?
To represent you on these charges.
Bueno, un abogado para que lo represente para cuando tenga que ir enfrente del juez.
No, yo tengo uno.
¿Yo tengo qué?
Yo tengo un abogado.
Ah, I do have a lawyer.
Okay. Who's your lawyer?
¿El nombre?
Rohan.
No lo entiendo.
Todavía no le he hablado, pero le voy a hablar para venir a corte con él.
Ah, I haven't talked with him yet, but I will talk with him to represent me.
Okay. You're free to go back unless you have any questions for me.
Ok, entonces ya se puede ir. ¿Tiene alguna pregunta para el juez?
No, todo está bien.
No, everything is fine.
Okay. Have a good day, sir.
Se puede ir. Tenga buen día.
Mr. Rosales.
Señor Rosales.
Sí, por el tuyo.
Good.
Sir, you're also charged with driving a vehicle with no license, and your bond is also set at $1,000. Can you pay that bond, sir?
Lo mismo para usted. Manejar sin licencia es un solo cargo y la fianza es $1,000. ¿Usted cree que lo van a poder pagar?
Sí, ya está pagado.
Ah, it's already been paid.
Okay. So you're in the same position as Mr. Ponce.
Usted está en la misma posición que el señor Ponce.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
¿Usted quiere saber, usted quiere abogado, quiere ver si califica para el abogado gratuito del tribunal?
Sí, me gustaría ver.
Yeah, I would like to know if I qualify.
Are you currently working, sir?
¿Usted trabaja?
Sí.
Yes.
How much do you make per month or per hour?
¿Cuánto gana en un mes o por hora, dígame?
18 por hora.
$18 an hour.
Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Ok, usted califica, así que le voy a nombrar un abogado gratuito que va a hablar con usted.
Okay.
Do you have any questions of me?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta?
Solo si podría salir ahora ya que ya tengo mi fianza pagada.
I would like to know if I'm going to be set free today since I already paid the bond.
Yes, sir.
Sí, señor.
Okay.
Any other questions, sir?
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
No, solamente.
No, that's it.
All right, you are free to go back and have a good day.
Ok, se puede ir. Que tenga buen día. Okay, I guess everybody else bond out. I have a long list.
Yes, yes. Thank the Lord for small favors.
So there's no
So
females?
I was going to make sure nobody on the female side, no one else on the male side.
Okay.
No.
Okay,
I'm
Miss
sure, Gardner.
Cheryl, you are free to go.
Bye, have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
So, how do you all want to do this? Because we got a lot of males, we got a lot of females, and I'm flexible depending upon how you want to play it.
We can start on the female side, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, let's start with Miss Bennett. Ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I'm gonna fix your bond at $15,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date that's gonna be set for June 14th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, I have an attorney.
Okay. Was your attorney supposed to be here today?
Well, no, I haven't contacted her to let her know because I got arrested in Rockdale, so they transported me over here and I didn't have her number.
Okay. I just did not want to conduct the proceeding if you expected your lawyer to be here. So you have your own lawyer. You have your next court date if you don't bond out. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am. You are free to go back.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Are you Miss Brown?
Yes.
Ma'am, you've been charged with one count of theft by shoplifting, and it appears as though they've charged it as a felony. You're going to have a bond set at $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for June 14th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Do they let you pay a percentage for the bond? I've never been to jail before.
Okay, so it is between 10 and 12%, but the Sheriff's Department will give you a list of companies that are authorized to write bonds here in this county, and they will tell you exactly what they'll charge. So if you call them, tell them your name, your charge, and your bond amount, they'll tell you.
And they're going to give me the names and stuff to the people, to the bail people.
Yes, the Sheriff's Department will share that information with you.
Okay.
Any other questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Are you Miss Carr?
No, I'm Miss Collins.
Okay, I'm sorry. Miss Collins.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you've been charged with one count of criminal trespass. Bond is going to be set at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus, give me 1 second. There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Shamika Rice. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about that?
The only thing is I need to pick up my items from her home, and then I'll be able to stay away from court.
So when you're making the provisions to bond out, you're going to need to speak with the Sheriff's Department about scheduling a date and time where they'll come and they'll be present physically for you to be able to remove your items. And I'm sorry, I got a message that I was reading. The Sheriff's Department will make arrangements and then for them to be there so that you can remove your items, and then you can go about, your daily living. Okay. But you got to make those arrangements with the Sheriff's Department, and the best time to make those arrangements is when you're bonding out.
Okay.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay. Ma'am, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, that's all.
Okay. You're free to go back, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Good morning. Give me 1 second, ma'am. I have to respond to a question. Okay. So tell me your name, ma'am.
Jaquay Dixon.
Okay, Miss Dixon, you've been charged with one count of aggravated assault, one count of battery, and 5 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. You're going to have a total bond set at, hold on. You're gonna have total bond set at $30,000, ma'am. Can you post that bond?
Well, I am a single mother of 5 kids, sir. I mean, can you be a little bit more lenient on the bond amount?
So I've set a $15,000 bond for the aggravated assault charge, $5,000 bond for the battery charge, and a $2,000 bond for the 5 cruelty to children in a third degree. And I would normally set those at about $4,000, $5,000. So I have given you like a cut on the bond, or given you, a little bit of grace.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Chauncey Burdette. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of counsel?
No, sir.
You have your own lawyer?
I'm gonna hire my own lawyer when I get out.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for June 14th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
Okay, so my bond is 30,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right.
Are you Miss Dixon?
Yes, sir.
Okay, man. Lakedra, or let's see. You're Lakedra Dixon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of contempt of court. Ma'am, what has been alleged is essentially an aggravated stalking situation. It can be contempt of court. But it appears that they have taken some leniency on you in the charging decision. You do not have to answer this question, but as I'm contemplating bond, I would like to know, why were you at a place that you were told not to go back to?
I'm the victim. I don't know how they reworded that. That's my residence. Kevin Jackson was the suspect. He was at my residence picking up his clothes, and we got into an altercation. And he called the police and stated that some of his items was missing. That's my residence, and I never even went to court. Yes, sir.
What I have on my side is that the court told you not to, not the place, but to not be around him.
No, that's incorrect. I never been to court. I never went. This is my first time in jail for this reason. I never been to court. That's why I said he got it backwards. I never been to court. He was the one who went to jail in March for simple battery. Nobody contacted me or anything. When the police came, he stated that he didn't supposed to be around me. That's why I'm confused too.
Okay. I'm gonna look this up, ma'am, because if what you're telling me is true, you should not be in custody.
Right. That's what I stated yesterday. And it's true. I've never been to jail for this. Never been in front of a judge.
Gonna look at one more database. There are surprisingly a lot of Dixons. And I just put your last name in thinking that I would get to the answer faster. Let's see. Do you have a number of incidents that occurred in 2013? And not a number, but it looks like two. And there may have been like charges that came out of that incident in 2013.
Oh, no, this not 2013. No, sir. No incident happened with me in 2013.
No driving on a suspended license.
Oh,
Getting
yes,
false
I'm
name.
sorry. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2013, I did go to jail for a driving under suspended license. I thought it was 2014 on the 4th of July.
Yes, it was 4th of July. And then there was something else that happened in August where it looks like the case was charged. That case was charged and it was resolved. But I don't see anything else that would connect you
Right.
to this charge. there's the, and I'm taking this time because if I go through with what it looks like is taking place, that I'm gonna dismiss this charge, but I'm gonna actually try to pull up the warrant number that is addressed here. The other person, and it's hard to read the officer's handwriting, but it looks like the other person's name was something Jackson.
Kevin Jackson.
Kevin Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The way that it's written, it looks like it is Heaven, spelled Hevin, but I did not want to presume. So give me one more second.
Okay.
Did you say that Mr. Jackson was arrested with you also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that makes it easier. Oh my goodness. Okay, Miss Dixon, I am going to dismiss this charge.
Thank you, sir.
It appears that everything that you've told me is true. I cannot confirm that you were under the instruction of a judge that you violated. So, ma'am, these charges are going to be dismissed, and when they receive this paperwork, you'll be free to go.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Give me 1 second, Mr. Strozier. Who are you here representing? Mr. Strozier, who are you here representing? You're on mute, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Christopher McMillan.
Mr. McMillan, can we pause for a second on the ladies' side, and let's get Mr. McMillan on the men's side.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. McMillan. I would normally speak to you directly. However, you have retained the services of Mr. Strozier. So Mr. Strozier will be the person that I will be communicating with. I need you to understand that we do not have a breakout room or a waiting room for you to have a privileged conversation with Mr. Strozier. So anything that you say will be heard by the entire world. So please do not say anything that you do not want the entire world to know. Do you understand that, sir? Okay, Mr. Strozier, Mr. McMillan is charged with false imprisonment battery, terroristic threats, and hindering an emergency telephone call. I will hear from you, Mr. Stroger. Is there anything that you want to tell me about your client and about bond?
Yeah, well, Your Honor, and you're aware that my client enjoys presumption of innocence throughout these proceedings, and my client doesn't have any history of no shows, and there's no reason not to give my client a reasonable bond, Your Honor. That's what I'm asking you to do.
Okay. I do understand the client's presumption of innocence, and I approach that or these proceedings with that in place. And just so you know, it's like I have to kind of like a mental gymnastics thing that you kind of do where when you're talking about bond, is well, the client is presumed innocent, but if the client did it, what would be an appropriate bond amount?
I think in these circumstances, Your Honor, a bond that he could make somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 for total all three charges, because my client doesn't have a lot of means, Judge.
Okay. So in the way that I approach that argument is that it doesn't mean that a rich person or a poor person gets to do more or less as it relates to potential things that they do on the street because they have more ability to pay bond or less ability to pay bond. Does that make sense to you, Mr. Stroger?
Yes, Your Honor. However, if a person's in jail with a bond they can't make, it's almost the same thing as not having a bond. Do you understand where I'm coming from, Your Honor?
I do, and so it's like it's like a. So if you and I'll say this in the light of the allegations that are made against your client. If you stretch that out, if you're just poor, you can just go punch as many people as you want and get out and start punching them again the next day and get out and start punching them the next day because you're poor. But it doesn't mean that the people getting punched, they don't have a right to not get punched in the face by a person who is poor, who just goes out and punches people in the face. Tell me what you believe. I have 4 charges here, and I have to set bonds on all 4 of these charges. So generally, the starting point on a battery is $5,000, and false imprisonment for a battery. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, you want to just take them one. I mean, I asked for a downward deviation if Your Honor could see your way to do it. But I mean, if you can't, you can't. But you know, like my client is of modest means, but obviously he intends to address these charges because the family has already gotten retained counsel. So I mean, that should, you know, the purpose of a cash bond is to make sure they show up, Your Honor. You know, that, I mean, you know, that's why there's an 8th Amendment prohibition against an unreasonable bond. I guess what I'm trying to say, I think that to a certain extent, reasonableness, you know, has to be, you know, you have to take into account the defendant's circumstances. Now, I fully understand what you just said. You know, and I'm not asking you to grant Mr. McMillan a signature bond, and I certainly don't want to see a society that I have to live in where people can just check in and out of jail like a revolving door. I mean, I do understand your point, I guess what I'm asking you to do is to grant a bond as low as your honor can see fit to do so, in hopes that he can make it.
Right, and that's because the reasonableness takes into account the person, the allegations, circumstances, all of that kind of deal. You know, like I have people charged with aggravated assault, and it meets the minimal definition of an aggravated assault, but it's not that they like shot at someone 6 times. It was, bare bones aggravated assault. So the person who's shooting at somebody gets a higher bond than the person who's just barely over the line getting aggravated assault charge.
And I'd point out here, there's no allegation. Now we're real early in this case, obviously, but there's no allegation here that anybody was hurt. Well,
with the battery, the allegation is that there are 2 marks on the face. And of course, that doesn't mean your client put those marks on the face. But there is an allegation of some harm.
Yeah. And Your Honor, I don't ever want to be in the position of minimizing charges against a defendant. So I don't want my comments to ever be construed in that light at all. Please do not. But in the overall scheme of things, we see cases, with these kind of charges that are much more serious in nature. And I'm not minimizing the charges, but when all this unravels, my client is not going to be wearing most of this, Judge. Not based on my very cursory investigation. I mean, I have evidence that suggests the alleged victim without running errands with my client after this alleged incident. But I mean, we're not going to get too deep into the facts of the case here because this is a bond hearing.
Right. And I do not want to get into that. It does make me feel better that he or his family or whomever, that they've taken the steps to hire a lawyer. That shows that there's seriousness that's being given to this. And I'm able to have these conversations with you that I would not ordinarily be able to have, because I don't want to ever put someone in a position where they're making statements about as it relates to their offense. There are 2 misdemeanor, or I think there are 2 felonies. The battery is a misdemeanor. Okay. What I'm willing to do.
Felony.
Yeah. What I'm willing to do, Mr. Strozier, is I'll set a total bond of $12,000. $5,000 on the battery, $2,500 on the false imprisonment, $2,500 on the terroristic threats, and $2,000 on the obstructing or hindering phone call. So that'll be a total bond of $12,000. There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond, stay away from the alleged victim, in this case, Miss Brianna Wilson. So your client will have to stay away from her unless and until this condition is changed by the district attorney's office. Brianne, I'm sorry, Wilson. He's going to have
I don't think that's going to be an issue, and we're not going to be seeking to have that modified, and it's not going to be an issue at all, Your Honor. Can we revisit that math, though? Did you say 5,000? I thought I heard you say 5,000, 25, 25, and 25, which would equal 12,500. Can we run back?
No. It was 2. It was 25 for the false imprisonment, 5,000 for the battery, 25 for the terroristic threats, and 2,000.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'd missed that. I'm sorry.
No, and that, you know, and I don't, you know, I don't take it lightly, the whole thing of setting bond, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak about these issues to help me, not to set an overly high bond or to, you know, not do something that will end up on the wrong side. Go ahead, Mr. Strozier.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I appreciate the bond that you granted, you know, and I tell people and families it's always best to get representation early. Frankly, Judge, my fees are my fees. My fees for Mr. McMillan are the same whether or not I was here at first appearance or not. You know, so, you know, I tell you get so much more out of an attorney if you hire them early on.
Yes, and I wish that Clayton County would have both parties present so that there can be a discussion back and forth, because what's written on the paper is what's written on the paper, and it's not always accurate.
Sure.
Okay, so you're free to go, Mr. Strozier. You're welcome. Ms. McMillan is free to go back. Let's switch back over to the ladies' side.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Strozier.
Okay, were we at Ms. Kilgore?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. I'm going to set the bond at $3,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No.
Okay. So, ma'am, if I lower this bond and I put a stay away provision on this bond, will you believe you can keep yourself away from this this location?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to reduce the bond to $1,500. I'm going to put a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Southside Inn, located at 6370 Old Dixie Road. And you have to understand, ma'am, that if you go back there, it could lead you to more charges. Okay? So I'm taking it up upon your representation that you're going to stay away from that location. If you go back, ma'am, you may not be able to get out of jail until this case is over. Okay?
Okay.
All right. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, ma'am, are you currently working?
No.
All right, you do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
You go back? Mm-hmm.
Give me your name, ma'am.
Gardner McCarter.
Okay, Ms. McCarter, you are charged with 1 count of disorderly conduct. The bond is automatically set at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
I already paid it.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay. You do qualify, ma'am. We're going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You have a preliminary hearing date that's automatically set at June 15th, but that date is going to get waived since you've already posted bond. Do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back. Are you Miss Navarre?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of theft by receiving stolen property and 1 count of concealing the ID of a vehicle. I'm going to set your bond at $5,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The theft by receiving stolen property is going to be a felony charge. So you're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for June 14th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'm trying to get my own representation, but can we go ahead and just see, just in case?
Okay. So it appears like you said you just started a job. Is that correct?
Yes, I just got hired. I haven't started the actual first day yet. I'm supposed to start this week.
Do you know how much you're going to get paid per hour?
Not yet. They submitted the offer this evening. I was supposed to by this evening, but they already told me I have a job.
So I'm going to find that you qualify, ma'am. You are totally free to discharge this lawyer at any point and hire your own lawyer. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am.
Thank you.
Are you Miss Peterson? Okay, ma'am, you're charged with one count of battery. Bond's going to be set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Not really.
Okay. There's going to be a stay away provision on your bond to stay away from a Ricardo Roberts. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah.
All right, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back. Have your name, ma'am?
Tina Riley.
Okay, Miss Riley, you've been charged with one count of criminal trespass. Bond is going to be set at $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir.
You're going to hire your own lawyer?
Do I need a lawyer? Are you saying I need another hearing?
Well, so as a lawyer, I tell anybody who's charged with criminal charges, they need a lawyer. It is incumbent upon you whether you want one or not. You can hire your own lawyer, you can represent yourself, or you can see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. If you don't want a lawyer, that's fine. Just tell me no, and I won't appoint a lawyer.
Okay, you can appoint me a lawyer.
Okay. You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, so, I'm sorry. Oh, no.
Tell me your name, ma'am.
Shantae Simpson.
Okay, Ms. Simpson, you're charged with 1 count of false statements and 1 count of obstructing an officer. The false statements is a felony charge. I'm going to set a total bond at $5,000 for these 2 offenses. Do you believe you can post this bond, ma'am?
With the bail bondsman, is that the 10% that you spoke of?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I can try.
Okay. Because the false statements is a felony charge, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 14th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, you're on the edge, but I will find that you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. Do you have any questions of me?
No, thank you, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Your Honor.
Good morning. Are you Miss Stokes?
Yes, this is my first time in jail too, also.
I'm sorry?
This is my first time in jail also, my first time.
Okay. Okay. So you're charged with 1 count of loitering or prowling. The bond for this is automatically set at $1,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Yes, and I also just start a new job too.
Okay. You don't have to answer this question, ma'am, but what were you doing at the gas station that late at night?
I don't have no idea, Honor.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Oh,
I'm sorry, did you say no?
yes, sir.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 15th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you have any questions of me?
No, you said June the 15th?
Yes, ma'am, but that date is going to get waived, and you'll get upon bonding out, it's going to get waived, and you'll get a new court date in the mail.
Okay.
All right. You're free to go back, ma'am.
Okay.
Are you Miss Walensky? Okay, ma'am. I'm sorry. What's your name? You said Tayana Volinsky?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, ma'am. The bond is going to be set at $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No, I just found out I'm pregnant and I got an appointment tomorrow. Can we lower it a little? I need to pay for my appointment.
Ma'am, it says that you were told to leave this location several times and you refused, and that is what led to your being arrested.
Oh, it was my child's father's house that I was at, and we were on the phone, and we tried to talk about it, and we kept arguing, but he kept giving me the okay to come back and talk, so I thought it was okay to come back.
Ma'am, were you pregnant at that time?
Yes, this is yesterday.
I know. And you're asking me to lower your bond because you're pregnant and you could avoid arrest by simply leaving.
I left and then I came back to talk about it.
Which led to what?
Me getting arrested.
So, ma'am, you would not be here asking me to do what you're asking me to do if you had just simply went home?
I know.
So what? I'm not going to lower the bond, ma'am. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I got a lawyer. I just need to contact him.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back. Are you Miss Young?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you've been charged with one count of obstructing an officer. I'm going to set the bond for this offense at $1,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes. Can I bond out today?
Yes, ma'am. I am going to be the person that will be probably the biggest hang up in the time that you bond out, because I have to do the paperwork and send everything back in, and then it gets entered into the system. And between now and that time, you should be making your arrangements to try to get yourself bonded out. And then either it's through a bonding company or cash or whatever, so that when they tell you, hey, it's in the system, you have already made your arrangements and you can bond out.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're free to go back. I'm going to do a continuance order for Ms. Carr, but as I've seen, that appears to be everything that's on the lady's side. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you for your help and assistance, and you have a good day.
You too, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay.
First one we have is Larry Cobb.
Okay. Give me 1 second, Mr. Cobb. As we have been going through the varying things today, I've kind of mixed up my paperwork. So I got to get myself back in order. I have you, Mr. Cobb, but just give me 1 second, because I think I put a couple piles together. Mr. Cobb, sir, you're charged with 1 count of criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. This is a felony offense. I'm going to set the bond at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir? You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 14th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, did you say yes? Okay. All right, you do qualify, Mr. Cobb. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir? Okay, you're free to go back.
Next is Mr. McDuffie.
Okay. Is it McDuffie or Duffy? Okay, sir, you're charged with 1 count of pedestrian walking on the roadway and 1 count of disorderly conduct. You're gonna have a total bond that's gonna be set, and it's set automatically by schedule at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Since you asked, sir, I'm like, I live alone, I'm like in the middle of my field. Can you work with me? I missed 1 day of work already. I have a job.
So with these bonds that are set by schedule, that what that means is that a group of judges sat down and they decided what they believed was an appropriate bond for each offense. So I generally don't change those because it's $500 for the pedestrian on the walkway and $1,500 for the disorderly conduct.
It's $2,000.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will be waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, sir.
It was when I came in, it was saying like 2,500 or something like that. You saying it's 2,000?
So because these are automatically set, the sheriff's department, they have the exact total because there are fees that are added that I don't have access to. So the number that you were probably given was a little bit more than the number I quoted to you. And that's just because of the fees that are added on. But whatever number they told you is the number that is the true and correct number. Okay? All right. You do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Duffy? Okay, you're free to go back, sir.
Next is Mr. Fannin, Fannin. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, sir. You've been charged with 1 count of driving a vehicle on a suspended license. The bond is automatically set at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir? I'm sorry, did you say yes? Okay, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you will receive a new court date in the mail. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, we will.
Are you currently working, Mr. Fannin?
Yes, I am.
About how much do you make per hour or per month?
About $16.75.
Is that per month or per hour?
Right.
Okay. All right. You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
So how much was that bond again, y'all?
It's $1,500. It's going to be a little bit higher than what I told you based upon the same reason I told the other gentleman. that I don't know if you've been told already from the sheriff's department, but they have the access to the fee that they are required by law to add on. So if you're given a number that was larger than the $1,500 number, that's because they were telling you the exact amount.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. You're free to go back.
Next is Mr. Finley.
Sir, you're charged with 1 count of driving under the influence of alcohol, 1 count of driving on suspended license, and 1 count of following too close. I'm going to set a $5,000 bond on the driving under the influence of alcohol. There's a $1,500 bond set on the suspended license, $500 bond set on driving too closely. So you're going to have a total bond of $7,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir? You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're on the edge, but you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions of me? Okay, you're free to go back.
Next is Mr. Jackson.
Mr. Jackson, you were arrested alongside of Miss Dixon. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You have been charged with violating a court's order to stay away from Miss Dixon. Do you understand that, sir?
Your Honor, I never remember signing any court order about anything. From what I know about our case, I did get arrested. I was charged with simple assault. Even though me and Miss Dixon, we never fought. She never said I hit her. They charged me with simple assault or simple battery, saying I tried to knock her phone out of her hand. It was not true. Long story short, she bonded me out of jail. I don't never remember signing anything saying I'm not supposed to be around her. It name was said that I was not supposed to go to our old address anymore. I did not. We actually moved. I got in contact with her after I helped her move 2 days ago to our new house. I got in contact with her about getting my things that she was holding. She came and picked me up. We went to the house. We kicked it together for a couple of hours. We had a few drinks and we got into it. She took my phone, my money out of my pocket, and was trying to put me out the house without giving my things. I went to the next door neighbor and called the police. When they arrived, I explained that my things were being held against me. She tried to give me some things. She lied to the officers about some things. Long story short, she started yelling. I started asking the officers. I seen that they was going to arrest her. I asked the officer, please do not arrest her. I'm just trying to get my phone and my money. Long story short, we both ended up getting arrested. I never signed anything saying I'm not supposed to be around her or at the new address. I say, from what I know of, maybe someone said to me about our old address. I don't know. Like I said, she got in contact with me. We've been talking since she bonded me out. We just moved to our new house 2 days ago. I don't know.
So, Mr. Jackson, given what you just told me, do you think it was a good idea or bad idea for a judge to tell you to stay away from Miss Dixon?
I never heard a judge tell me anything. So I say, I've been talking with an officer right now. They said it might have been on my bond thing that I signed. I don't remember signing anything on my bond thing, but I do remember our address being on the bond agreement. That's something I remember.
Mr. Jackson, you didn't answer my question.
Yes, sir. You said, was it a good thing or a bad thing for them to give us a order?
To have been told to stay away from Miss Dixon. And I understand you saying I was never told that. But do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing for you to stay away from Miss Dixon?
I'm not sure how to answer that. I mean, I am in jail again for going around her. I don't understand. Like, we're so-called.
Okay, so Mr. Jackson, you're saying I'm in jail again because of her, but I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing for me to stay away from her. She was lying to the police about some stuff that she said, but I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing for me to stay away from her. I'm asking you, sir.
I understand what you're saying, officer.
Don't deflect. Don't deflect. Don't deflect. You understand the question that I'm asking. You understand the right answer to that question. Whether you say yes to it or not, I'm waiting to hear.
Yes, sir. I understand. I'm very confused.
So, Mr. Jackson, should people be in jail or should it be out on the street?
Some people should be in jail.
And if somebody's lying and saying stuff and exaggerating stuff that helps you get yourself in jail, is it good to be around that person or is it bad to be around that person?
I would say that would be a bad thing, sir. She didn't call the police, sir. I called the police to help me. I called the police.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, I'm not going to prolong this. I'm going to set a $2,000 bond for the obstructing officer, a $1,500 bond for the contempt of court. You're going to have a total bond set at $3,500. Now, listen to these next words carefully. You have a stay away provision on your bond to stay away from Ms. Dixon. Now, this is on the internet. I'm telling you this. Should you choose to violate it? Should you choose to get yourself arrested a third time? It's all upon you, sir. Okay? You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir. You say my total bond is $3,500. So if I am able to pay, I would be released today or tomorrow.
Yes, sir. And what are you not going to do when you get released?
Yeah, I contact Mr. Dixon. He okay.
You do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. I've appointed a lawyer to represent you. Please speak to that lawyer and listen to that lawyer, and please make better decisions that are going to keep you out of jail. All right, you're free to go back.
Next is Mr. LaCoy.
Good morning, Mr. LaCroix. You're charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. This is a misdemeanor offense. Your bond is automatically set at $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
I don't have possession of my property at the moment. It's being held at a police property, and that is where all my money is.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, sir. Did you say yes? Okay. You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay. You're free to go back, sir.
Next is Mr. Roberts. Judge, the last name ended in OWUSU. He bonded out.
Okay, thank you. And you are Mr. Ricardo Roberts. Is that correct, sir? All right, sir, you've been charged with 1 count of battery. The bond is going to be set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond? I'm sorry?
Yeah, it could be paid, yes, sir.
Okay. You're going to have a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Shanquilla Peterson. Do you understand that, sir?
That's my wife.
But do you understand the stay away provision?
We work together, live together. How can we? But I need to move out my own house.
If she lives there, yes, sir.
leave my wife. All right.
The person that you're leaving is the person that's alleged to be the victim in this battery. Now,
You get the fighting in that.
I'm sorry?
You get the fighting. There was no leaks passed, nothing. The officer looked at my neck and seen a scratch on my neck, and that's why they locked her up.
Okay. So, Mr. Roberts, I don't know you. I don't know your wife. I do know that you're appearing before me in a jail uniform with an allegation that you committed a battery against your wife. Those are the facts that I'm operating on. So if this is nothing and it's just as small as you say that it is, all of this stuff can get changed within a day or two, right? The solicitor's office, they make the final determination as to whether they're going to release this provision or not. But the request is made upon us to put this provision on because you're going to be going home today. And whether there's a reason to have this on you or not is not something that can be determined in 24 hours. Okay. So are we on the same page, sir?
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. And I hope that you understand that I don't know anything about you, and I'm not making any judgments about you other than what is being written here. And in the future, whatever led to this police being called and all that kind of stuff, you know, you and your wife work it out. My wife and I, we've been married almost 20 years, and police have never been called to our house. Okay? You're free to go back, sir.
Next is Mr. Jawan Roberts.
Mr. Robinson, sir.
How you doing?
Good morning. You've been charged with one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce and one count of driving a vehicle on a suspended license. You're going to have a total bond set at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir? You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. The date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, sir.
No.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Next is Mr. Scott.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Mr. Scott, you've been charged with one count of simple assault, one count of aggressive driving, and one count of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. You're going to have a total bond set at $7,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry? Yes, you said yes. Okay, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me? I'm sorry, did you say no? Okay, I still didn't hear. You can, I'm sorry. You said you had no questions?
Yes, sir. I said I had no questions.
Okay, thank you. You're free to go back, Mr. Scott.
Next is Mr. Strud.
Are you Toby Antonio Stroud? I'm sorry, you gotta speak up, sir. I can't hear you. Okay, sir, you're charged with one count of driving a vehicle without a license, one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and one count of giving a false name, address, or date of birth. I'm going to set your total bond at $3,500. Can you post that bond, sir? You said no? Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
For one of those charges, do y'all do like the signature one?
I'm sorry, say that again, sir.
For one of those charges, can you do me like a signature one, or you can't do it?
So the process for setting a signature bond would be you would have to stay in jail an extra night while I speak to my chief and get approval of that. And she has not granted one yet. So if you want to stay in jail for another night to be told either yes or no, that's fine for you. But I'm just, letting you know.
How would the 10% thing work with the like with the?
So you contact the bonding companies and you tell them your name, your charges, your bond amount. They then tell you what fee that they will charge. And I think there are like 5 or 6. So they're competitive. They'll put you on payment plans. They'll do certain things. It's like everybody going to the same store, or the store that sells the same thing that 6 other stores sell. You can't sell it at the same price or a higher price. You gotta, deal with that. So it'll be incumbent upon you to contact them and negotiate with them and get the best deal possible. Okay. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you said yes? Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me? That's no.
Driver with no license, like, what's that?
Okay, Mr. Stroud, you gotta keep your tone up so I can hear everything you're saying, because I'm not catching every word. So can you restate that, please?
The false name thing, I told the police my name, but he had like my date of birth was wrong because my birthday was yesterday, but he put it in the system wrong. So he was saying I was getting him false information. But his chief came out there and got the same information that I gave him.
Okay, so Mr. Stroud, the lowest I can set a bond for you is $500. Do you want me to reduce the given false name from 1,000 to 500?
Do you want him to reduce it from 1,005?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll do that, sir. So you're now going to have a total bond of $3,000. Okay? You're welcome. Anything else, Mr. Stroud? Okay, you're free to go back, sir.
Mr. Turner?
Mr. Turner, you charged with one count of driving a vehicle on suspended license. The bond is automatically set at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 15th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
That concludes the bill, sir, yeah.
Okay, thank you for your assistance and your patience. Have a good day.